All right, welcome to video number 2 in our hot seat series. What's the hot seat series? That's where I sit in the hot seat and folks try to stump me with questions. Johnny's got a whole bunch of questions and topics about aquarium fish keeping I've got to respond to. I can't look at Google. I can't look at my phone. I have no resources. I've just got to take it and on the fly, see how well I can do at answering it. So Johnny, what do we got? Okay, we got a faller. Okay, canisters are expensive trash cans. All you need is a sponge filter. Sorry, Bentley is what it says. So canisters filters are expensive trash cans is the assertion. All you need is a sponge filter. I think that's right and I think that's wrong. So it depends on the application, right? Every piece of equipment is good if it's the right application. When would you want a canister filter? Well, there's once when I used a canister filter and it was awesome, and it was in a 125-gallon tank that I had down in my basement, which was behind me all the time when I live streamed. Still behind me, but you can't see it behind this green screen here, which you won't see because hopefully I have a better background. But anyway, it worked really well. It was a Fluval FX5. I used that thing for 10 plus years. It was strong enough that I didn't have to have anything except for another power head in there, and I had one little air stone in there to break up surface tension. So in that case, the Fluval FX5, that canister filter, did me right. How I plumbed it was, on one side of the tank, the water would flow out of the tank and down in the canister filter. On the other side, it would come up and it would kind of flow through the aquarium in a circulating method. And I got a good amount of flow that way. Not so much that the fish were blown away, but enough that there was constant motion and you could see the plant's leaves kind of waving a little bit in the current. I liked that. Now, one of the reasons this worked so well is I wasn't only dependent on the canister filter. This tank came with a weir in the corner. If you don't know what a weir is, it's like a dam with a little overflow at the top. So water would flow into the weir, down to the bottom of the weir, and then out to the canister filter. And I stuffed that weir full of filter floss. So basically, that's a big pre-filter for the canister filter. So the canister filter almost never got clogged. In fact, I ran it for a couple years and didn't even look at it. And one day I was like, I better check that thing. I bet it's clogged. So I opened it up just for preventative maintenance. Nope, it was in perfect shape. So having a filter floss weir before the canister filter, having a little pre-filter, made it so I never had to touch that thing. That thing worked amazing in that situation. I have no idea how well it would have worked without the weir because I never tried it that way. So with the weir, it worked wonderfully. Now, canister filters can leak. One of the disadvantages is they're under the aquarium. So if there's a leak, it's siphoning water out of your aquarium down to the canister filter and all over the floor if a hose isn't connected right, or if the gasket, the O-ring gets a little cracked or something like that. So that is a big disadvantage. The propensity, the likelihood of a flood, of an accident, goes up with the canister filter. That's a reality. So that's why I used mine in the basement, because if it leaked, it wasn't going to go down and damage a bunch of floors. If I lived in the top floor of an apartment building, I probably would never use a canister filter. So in cases where you want your water polished, you want good flow, and you don't have to worry so much about a flood in case when the canister filter fails, because eventually every piece of equipment fails, then I think they're a good option. They do keep the water nice and crystal clear. That is one of the main advantages. Now let's talk about sponge filters. Sponge filters are decent. They don't keep the water as crystal clear, but they do a decent job of polishing the water off. The nice thing about a sponge filter is the simplicity. It's just a little bioreactor is all it is. So all a sponge filter is surface area that beneficial bacteria can grow on. That's it. That's the whole thing. Then the water is drawn up the uplift tube by the air going up, drawn through the sponge filter, up the uplift tube, and water's just constantly cycling through all that surface area where it does collect detritus and collects the particulates in the water, and where the bacteria that you need to keep your ecosystem balanced eats all the ammonia and nitrite and nasty stuff. So they work really well. what I like about them is they don't need a separate power supply. They just need air. So you can get one air pump, you can power multiple tanks and have sponge filters in all the tanks. So if you're breeding and you're not so worried about the looks, you just want a tank that is healthy and you don't need to worry about it being a show tank, sponge filters are a great option. The other thing is they're dirt cheap. Well, they used to could. Sponge filters have probably doubled in price. You used to be able to get sponge filters for like $3 all day long. Then it was $5. Now it's probably like 10 to 15, something like that. But still, that pales in comparison to the cost of a canister filter. So they're cheaper, they're simpler, there's no moving parts, and you can run multiple sponge filters on a single air pump. That's the main advantages that I see with them. Oh, and flooding, they don't flood. They're in the tank itself, so if they malfunction, they don't create a big sloshy disaster. So, I don't know. Canister filters are expensive trash cans? I don't think so. I think there is a place for the canister filter in certain situations. And I think there's a place for sponge filters in other situations. So they're each good, just depends on your application. That's the hot seat for today. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everyone, it's Dan. If you want to learn more about aquarium fish, we do a live stream every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern on the Dan's Fish YouTube channel. If you're in the market for aquarium fish, check us out at dansfish.com. We ship to the US and parts of Canada. And if you want something fishy to wear, we've got merch. Till next time, have a good one. Bye-bye.